everybody. Welcome to our first Freemotion Fridays of the year with Quinn of FabriKated Quilts. So I've got my glider on. I'm using isosceles thread. Let me just pull this down just a little. So really a beautiful thread, got a little sheen. It's pretty strong. If you were trying to pull on this, you would end up kind of cutting yourself. Ugh, right? It's pretty strong. So I'm going to go ahead and pull up the bobbin thread before we start. Whenever I'm quilting, I frequently do not use my scissor button because that button is going to cut those threads too short. So I'm just trying to sweep this under here to get this little tail. Once I have the tail longer, that way I can just continuously use that pull up just like I did. I'm going to put the needle down and up and it'll pull up that thread. And that way this will always be long enough. So right now, if I were to try to pull this up and I put that needle down and up in this way, I can just move this over a little bit. See, let's hold that. Down and up, okay? And then I can pull that up just like that, right? And give these a little tug. Make sure that this is working. You can actually put the presser foot down and give a little tug. And as long as this has some resistance when you pull this top thread, this is a sign that the tension on your machine is active. If it just pulls right out, then that's a sign that maybe your threading path is not accurate. So I would always give that a quick check. What I want to do today is I've got a couple of triangle spaces really quickly, and I am just going to use this, but we're going to talk about where are we going to start with these designs. So the key for using our triangle spaces as inspiration. All right, here, I'm going to just make sure we're not disturbed here by anything. Hi, Lois Williams. Happy New Year. It's been a great New Year here. We've had a house full, still have a few people remaining, which is awesome. We love it. But next week it'll be quite a bit quieter. So let's start with this one really quickly. So this triangle is isosceles, and I created it by making this center line. So this is 5 inches long, the base, and I made a center mark and just made a straight line. So this right here is a 90-degree angle. And then from this point to this point is also 5, and this is 5. So all of these legs of this triangle are the same size. If I want my design to begin in the center and I'm planning to go ahead and echo this space, then it makes sense that I would pick up my thread right there in the center, stitch around, and then I can just continue the design right from that center space. So that's going to be the first look that we'll do. And let's see if we can just bring the camera in a little bit more and a little bit lower angle so you could see better. All right, so I'll center my needle. I am using my ruler foot. I think my bobbin's having a little issue here. It's clacking on me. I'm just going to check it. I can hear that it is making a funny sound that I don't like. So I want to make sure that it's going to sew nicely. All right. Put that in, make sure we're in the track. So this is how I do it myself. I just roll back my glider and do whatever I need to do with my bobbin. It's good if this thread here, just kind of tack it up here so that it's held up on that cutter, and then I can just put this underneath here and roll that. Press it down. It sticks really well on the metal. It's not as good of a stick on the plastic, but it is not going anywhere. This holds really well. So if you're worried about this flipping up a little bit, you could just put a little piece of tape right there. All right, so here, let's do that one more time. I want to check when I pull this up, see how it's pulling? There's got to be something wrong with my thread path here because this isn't right. It's got a little mind of its own right this moment. It shouldn't retract the thread like that, so I'm just going to make sure it's in that take-up lever and that everybody's behaving. All right, thread. Good, that seems good. And then let's needle down and up. Okay, so I don't hear my bobbin moving around. That is a good sign. If it's jumping in its track like that, you know that's not good juju. All right, let's get this up and we'll get going. That's how it is, right? You know, things happen when you're sewing. Oh, much better. So it just pulled that right up so smoothly, and we don't need to tack off at the beginning here. When I'm looking, I've got this little cutout, and I can use that just to move along. So right here, this is 1/4 inch on each side, and I don't know what I did with my spacing gauge, so we'll just estimate. If you have something like this with a center line, I can actually put it right on this center line, and that should give me that 1/4 inch right there. The challenge for me is that I'm a lot further away from the machine, so I can't really see what's happening on this side. So if I put it here, I can use this as the visual marker, and I feel like that's a little bit better right there for me to see. So I'm right in the line. When I look inside, I can see exactly what I need to do. Just to keep it aligned for you guys, right here, I think I need one more stitch. I can tell because this is a little wide. So one more to get to the corner, and now it's aligning perfectly. Notice how my hand is flat and my thumb is right here pushing. I've got this nice little handle right here, which gives me a little bit of traction right there, which I really like. Right to this top point right there, right in that line that I've created. And I don't need to rotate. I often do because the camera doesn't go with me, so to speak. But I can leave this here. I can align it right there. And now, when I'm moving side to side, I want 2 hands. That's going to help me move everything together. It gives me just a little bit better pressure that way. Then the 2 hands are working together, push and pull. Okay, and same thing here. I want to go right over these threads just a little bit and make sure that they're secure. Okay, there's my 1/4 inch, and we'll just come right into that center right there. All right, so from here, we're going to use this center as the base. So if I want to do mirror, I can also put some reference lines. So I'm using a new marking tool. This is the Duo from Sewline. So this is the marking pen, and this is the eraser. Cool. All right. So let's just say, let's make a few marks. Why make some marks? When you get stronger in your quilting, you may not need this, right? But I think initially it's helpful if we have some frame of reference. So for example, say that I want to come in here and I want to make a curl like that, right? And I need something that'll fill up this corner and coming over. Well, now I have a similar space on this side, right, that I can copy. So then the mirror can be something to aim for. So if this comes right into this cross right there, as I'm coming in, I can use that as my reference, right? So let's go ahead and we'll do some more. So here we'll go ahead and we'll put like a little baby curl right there to fill that in. And then we'll go this way. And that'll bring us back to here. Now, from this position, we're here, we can go down if we want to, and that'll bring us back here to do this side. Then, once we get back to here, we're a little bit close to come up to here. Okay? Yeah, mine doesn't either. You know how it is. So Di's like, doesn't look like a mirror. Well, this gets it closer, just a little bit closer. We're not robots. It's okay. So, So we kind of started from this position, and I'm just going to go back to the center, just come up and just make this as a curl. And just relax. Don't be too worried about it being perfect or a mirror or anything. Just try to have fun with it. So we'll just try to think about that space right there and put a little curl, and then we'll make this one fit in. Come up and over the top, almost to the line, and then just fill in gently, and we'll come back. Okay, now I just randomly made this up. And the part about the whole randomly made this up, I don't always know what I want. I don't think most quilters know what they want, but what's important is you have to start with something. You have to put something there. And then if I don't like it, I can do something else. But this can at least get me started. If you feel like you need the visual reference, it's okay to draw it on the other side if you want to, especially as you're developing that, right? So we kind of want to copy this a little bit. So right here, we came up, we did a little mirror, and let's see, curve in and out. And this one, it's this way. So I want to kind of, oh, I'm struggling already. Wee and curl, wee and curl. Okay, then we came over the top. Let's see, did we come over the top? We got to get out. Oh, I curled the wrong way, right? That's what I did. So this one's going to the outside, right? So when we curl back in, we have to come back up this way. There's your answer, Di. Mine's not a mirror either. Come in. I think directionality is always a big challenge. I won't lie. Mine is too. This position right there where we are is the tip here. So this is where you're going to come back out, and we want to fill in this little curl right here. So we can see that he kind of curls to the outside a little bit, and then in, and then we'll just kind of work this one right here. When he comes back over, he's going to fill in the top, right? Let's see, he's going to the outside and curl and back like that. Okay, we'll see if I can do it. And we'll see if that eraser works, right? Let's see if it works. All right, let's come on down. Okay. So we dip in here. This one's going to come down to the point, up, and when we come over the top, we're trying to meet right at this spot with this other one. Now, we'll use this as the reference. We're going to come over the top, fill in that little curve, come out, try to fill that in right there, and point. And then this one's going to echo back to the center. Oh, I think we did it, right? There's a lot of markings in there. So let's go ahead and use that awesome eraser. I just think it's so cool that we can actually do it with this, because then you can see, right? All that messy line I put on there. That's a good thing we have this. Now this will go away. I've ironed over this one a little bit, and it has not stayed. It's kind of that air erase still. But if you need it off sooner, this is a good way to get that. Sometimes we feel like the lines are a little too messy, and they make it really difficult for us to move forward with our design. So there, what do you think? Does that look pretty good? All right, let's move on. All right, so now, you know, what we've done is we developed a small portion of this, and now we can finish up this top. Now, I can do this all as one, or we can still kind of keep going with this mirrored impact. So since it's free motion, we'll just kind of come up here, and I'll just make this one kind of match in this way. So here, and I'll just curve right up to the top. This allows me to mirror it the other way. Okay, so we've got something here. This is the top of this little space. Okay, so let's just show you what I mean. If this is the top, this gives us the visual reference. We want to come down, and we're going to curve out to fill this space, and curve in, and come right back. So this is, the technique for this is we're using mirroring, but we're not doing one whole side, because sometimes if your design is really long, then it's really difficult to get back down to the other side without just cutting your threads. So this is sort of a staged development that'll bring us up to the top of the design a little bit at a time so that we can continue. All right, at the bottom, when we're done, we do want to tack some thread. It's okay that there's a little extra thread. We're fine with that. So micro tacking, needle up, raise the foot. That takes all the pressure off the thread, and when I pull it forward, then the bobbin thread is also coming with me. Okay. So this type of design, the one that we've just created, I feel like this one has an orientation. It is very directional, right? I would tell you that I perceive this as the base, right? And that's telling me that this is the top of this. I'll show you one other thing that will actually even improve the look of that. We could have done it on the inside, but I think that a design like this would really benefit from an echoed border. Right there. Let's go ahead and we'll just move on to the next one. Let me see, we'll flip it so we can get these threads off of here. I know it's messy. It always looks messy when you just have all those lines, but doesn't that look fine? And I think having a little space right here would definitely make it look better. Did somebody ask about the pen? Let me wake up my computer. It's sleeping right now. I'll show you the pen that I have. It's two pieces. They come together like that, and it is the duo set. So one air erase style marker, and then this one. What I like about this is not wet, right? It does erase, but this is not wet. So if I want to sew over this right now, I can already, because right here, even though I only erased half of it, this side is not wet except a tiny little bit, right? But now I can go ahead and just sew some more. All right, did anybody lose sound? Can you guys still hear me? Somebody just said that they lost sound. I want to make sure you guys can hear me. If somebody could give me a thumbs up, I would appreciate you. All right. Okay. Let's keep sewing. From this one, yes, I am selling them. They are on the website if anybody is interested in that. I'll try to put the link in the chat later. Let's go ahead and we're going to just start in one corner and we're going to fill out. Now, as we do this, we have to think about, are we filling to this corner? Are we filling to that corner? We need to make that plan so that we can continue the whole thing. So if I'm filling a little bit this way, then I have to know that I'm going to have to go a little that way. So let's kind of angle it this way, and we'll go this way, and we'll go that way. Okay? So this is something that would be maybe a little bit less directional than the other one, where the other one clearly had a base, and this one will just kind of have a flow. So what I think usually you can see with something like this is it's kind of like a direction. So we'll kind of curl this one. Going halfway. This is just a wiggly line, and then I'll just echo it back. And a little curl. And here, we'll just curl this way as we can. And what that'll do is kind of help us change directions. So we'll put a little arc in here, just because. turn it so we can show it off a little bit. Okay, so we kind of went one direction. So now let's go ahead and we'll do that curl again. This is going to help us sort of fill towards that center. I don't want to go too far because as we come here, we'll fill in this just a little bit. So, these will have to get a little bit shorter as we go. And we'll kind of put that in. And here we'll do that little curl and we'll kind of wing out. 1, 2, 3, and then we'll curl right there. This will let us fill right into there, and we'll have one last curl right there. And this guy will just kind of fill right in. It's a little bit more random. Oh, I love it. It looks awesome. But it's not as directional in my mind as the other one because it has pieces moving in all directions. So this one we went ahead and we sewed pretty much before we got the echo on there. So we started wherever we wanted, and if I needed to ditch this, pretty easy to do. Ditching does help define the design. It helps make sure that it has a strong boundary. It can also clean up some of these lines if they're not touching where we want them to. This will help close that visual field for people. Okay, always make sure your needle stops moving before you make any adjustment with your hand positions, like right there. Make sure the needle's all the way down. Okay. And then here, this will definitely help us close. I think we need one more stitch because we're not quite at the tip. I can usually see that quickly if this space is not properly a 1/4 inch. So the ruler's not changing sizes, so I usually can heed that guidance pretty reliably. Here, this is also going to help me tack in that corner right there because we're tacking right over it with this tacking stitch. Okay. And here we go. We'll close that. Here I would use my spacing gauge to make sure that this is going to close properly. That'll help it have a nice streamlined look, and we'll tack over a little bit. And that's more of what I would consider to be sort of a random fill. We kind of had a pattern. It's a little bit rotational in nature, but I think that would be a lot more acceptable to use in any different direction. So that would not be something where we would only be able to use it as an upright position. Okay. All right, let's do one last one. So let's go ahead and with this one as we go, what I want to do is maybe put some visual markers here. Let me grab my ruler and I'll show you what I mean. If you want, you don't have to draw these lines, but I'm going to go ahead and mark them. And I'm going to use 1 inch, I think will be good. We don't need a million. This is 5 inches. So if I split this, that's if you want to stitch the triangle first, that was the first lesson from the first triangle, is deciding where you want to start. So with this one, I went ahead and I stitched it first, and we started basically right in the center. And as I went around, I came right back to there and sewed this. So I think it's really up to you. Sometimes ditching isn't what you want. Like if you have designs that flow out from here and you don't want this line, then you don't have to have it. But if you feel like this needs to be set off, then yes, go ahead. Is my microphone not working? I'm speaking right next to it. Okay, let me see. How is that? Is that better? Can you hear me better? I actually took my speaker off, my headset off. See? Let me know if that sounds better. I'm very close to the sound system, so I'm not sure why the volume is poor. Okay, good. Thank you. That's better, huh? Okay. Well, and this one, as I said, this line is 5 inches. Okay, so let's just mark those lines and I'll show you what we're going to do with those. So 1, 2, 3, 4. What this does is it's giving some even segmenting, and we're going to start from this point. So let's just kind of mark some quick references. And I can estimate these. I don't always have to mark, but I want to show you what I'm thinking as I make these divisions that I'm trying to do. Okay. So what this is going to do is go from narrow to expansive. So this to me has kind of a direction right here. Okay. So what I want to do is I want to fill these out. So as I come, let's just go ahead and go like this. We'll just do something very simple. And here, if it's not filled enough, then let's just go back again. And depending on how wide these are, you can do that a few times. And then as we come out here, same thing. You're just going to make these wider and go back. Now, decide early on, do you want it to curl or not curl? You can also, we'll do one more. If it's really wide out at the base right there, you can go like this and go like that. And what that does is this will fill a little bit more on the base, put a little bit more, and also kind of create that curve. You can even go all the way to the corner, and then you would have this on the corner like that. So let's do a couple of those. And I'll kind of like I'm just going to move these out just a little so that I can not have quite as many lines. Just let's vaguely remove some of that so we don't have as much ash and trash in our vision. Okay. I know it gets really bulky and busy when we start drawing on it, I think. All right. That'll just make it a little bit easier. The thread is pretty visible, which I love. It's that really bright pink. It's really awesome. All right, pick it up. So what's the purpose of echoing our thread back? Who knows? It's got a purpose, actually. It really does. Let me turn it so you can see. So right at the beginning, the echo right here, the curvature needs to be very, very shallow. So don't go really fast. Try and make it nice and smooth. And we don't want to take up the whole thing. So here, let's echo back. And then we'll just come over this top. Let's turn it just slightly so I can get a little more further away from the curve. It's okay if they touch. It'll look more like a ribbon, so don't worry about it. Okay. And then let's do another one. Nice and narrow and shallow. Not too deep because we want space for our echo. I love it, you guys. It looks awesome. So nice and easy at the beginning. And then don't make it too deep as you go. Remember that our lines are going to go away, so if here it looks closer or there it looks closer, that won't really matter once the lines are gone. And can you see that right there it's going to get bulky up here? Yeah, I think I do too. It kind of widens it out. Di was saying she likes it better here at the corner. I do too. All right, so let's do that last one. So nice and easy, gentle curl, and then kind of keeping it in the middle as we get wider and wider. Okay, and then of course I can echo that out and put the echo in there. I'm going to tie it off. One thing you'll note about this one is since we come back to this center position so many times, there's definitely going to be more thread that's going to build up right at the tip. And that in itself is going to bring people's eye right to that point, right? So they're not going to be necessarily looking out here. You're always going to be drawn back to that center position right there. Yeah, that's a good idea. Somebody mentioned that they feel like that kind of arc like that is a little flatter, that this could be sort of a more masculine look to the quilt. Yeah, curly and swirly does kind of have, you know, a little bit of a different look, but oh, it looks awesome. Look at that. Isn't that cool? Even this one, though it changed directions and kind of made this little hourglass in here, I still think it looks even cool. All right, so I wanted to show you just that one last thing. We talked about using echo and how that can make things look better. Sometimes if you just put an echo on something, I'm just going to make a straight line here so we can build up this space really quick. And that just gives me the turn, right? So right here, this is right at the center, and then these are right at the center. So as I come down, I need to put basically, let's do this corner too. We need to know where we're going to transition here. There we go. That's going to help us as we turn the corner. Okay, so let's set the ruler up first. If I put a single line like this, where this is right along here, the spacing is going to be 1/4 inch. If I want a half, I'll use one line on the ruler, and then I can just keep on going to sew. This is right at the center position right here at the top. A lot of times I don't start in the center, but the ruler is telling me that that's where I would start if I was going to start right there at the corner, those lines. So I see what I did with my line. I'll show you what I did wrong with my line. It should have gone through the center of my triangle. That's why I didn't get what I wanted. So what I'm going to do here, we have 1/4, so this foot needs to advance beyond this line 1/4. So I'm going to scoot down a little bit so I don't lose my place. Okay, so as I estimate, I'm looking back behind here. I'll turn it for you. I need to be 1/4 here. So maybe like 2 more stitches. Why 1/4? As I lay this on here, I need that to be 1/4 beyond that line, the bottom here, to give me that spacing. Okay, I'm going to turn it. Ready? I'm just going to bring it so you can see me lining it up. There's my 1/4 right there, and I need to check both sides. Okay, here we go. Okay, 2-finger safety rule, move down. So that one's getting a little close to his little friend right there, but that'll be okay. It'll all work out. Okay, and then now as we get close right here, I want to basically make sure I have that 1/4 inch so I can close the design. So if that requires a little fudging to get there, that's what I'm going to do. All right, so we'll go ahead and we'll tie this off, and I'll flip it over so you can see how much that border really makes a difference to this design, I think. So if I knew I wanted a border, you can do the border inside the triangle first if you don't want to expand it. Like if this was pieced right here, I would put the border inside and then fill the design. Okay, since we're done, I'll just cut it because I don't need to worry about pulling that thread up some more. but let's show you what we got. I love that, don't you think? That really, I think, gives this part a little presence, and then this is a little puff, and then whatever's happening out here, you know, you probably have more quilting in this space. Okay, and then same thing here. By putting this border on, I think it would really accentuate that, because this is busy, and then basically you have the resting frame around the outside. And definitely with this one, I would want that triangle border and perhaps the frame as well. The border here for this one really defines the shape, because these pieces don't fill right to the edge. So I would recommend that we add that in. Okay. All right, so we had just 3 of those. These were from a previous lesson, which I believe never made it online. It was live, but Facebook lost it. And, you know, when it posted, it just never was able to play, and I could never recover it. But we'll think about maybe sharing some of that later. Yeah, you like the one with the fleur-de-lis at the top? Me too. It's cute. Oh, got some threads, loose threads. Anyway, you guys have a wonderful day. And if you're interested in that duo marker, I'll put the link in one of the comments after the video is posted. But you think about that. Think about working with shapes. Like if you do a lot of triangles, practice a few triangles so you have your, 5 favorites that you can go to. And what that allows is then you don't sit that quilt down and say, oh, it'll speak to me, because it may never talk to you. It's inanimate. It's waiting for you to talk to it. Alrighty. Have a great day, you guys. Happy New Year.